on. I mean, two European Zergs, Namshar definitely the favourite, but HateMe no slouch. Coming into this, he took down Bly 2-0 and Denver 2-1 already. And so the more we we'll see how this goes. It's kind of going to be fun to see HateMe actually playing here in these semi-finals. I'm interested to see what happens. As we have to the bottom left-hand side, our blue Zerg player is Namshar. He's going up against the red Zerg to the top right-hand side for Romantic Gaming. This is HateMe. Again, an Austrian Zerg who isn't maybe so well known in the world of StarCraft 2, because while he does play a few online events, he is again one of these players who just hasn't quite broken through beyond the online events, right? So a lot of people don't know him, but he is very good, he's very strong, he is high up in GM. Definitely one to watch out for. I believe he took a map off TY in a Home Story Cup a while back. That was pretty fun. That was like Home Story Cup 13 or something. It was like a couple of years back, but it was pretty sick. It was the one where Legacy of the Void had just come out, and it was best of 5 groups or something. Anyways, all good, as we do see Hatch Gas Pool openings here. Obviously, Game 1, I don't think will be very surprising if we see kind of macro play on both sides. Game 2 is definitely where I think we can start seeing some cheeses, some other, some other kind of bits and pieces, because when either players 1-0 up, they can start to feel confident, as though they have some room to play around with, or if they're 1-0 down, sometimes that triggers people into thinking, oh, well, now I've got to try something different, something crazy, maybe to win. So it's an interesting kind of dynamic that we have kind of coming through here, as we do see the Overlord just kind of coming across. Actually, Overlord's going across on both sides here so far. Again, Queen coming up on both sides at the moment. Ling speed comes down from HateMe, and we are just going to be seeing a Ling speed in response from Namshar. They're mirroring each other up until now. Big difference is that HateMe does continue to mine with 2 workers on gas compared to the 1, so you will have access to a faster Baneling nest, if only just. It means that Namshar has a tiny bit more kind of mineral-based income. And actually, well, the unit counts like HateMe built 4 Zerglings earlier, Namshar skipped his 4 Zerglings until a couple of drones later, so everything Namshar doing is a little bit greedier. But it's a little bit greedier, but it's going to work out for him because it isn't that much greedier, right? Because he still gets these 4 Lings up. He didn't skip them completely. He just delayed them because he doesn't want to send his Lings across the map. He just wants them to defend the Lings of his opponents. So, as far as it goes for Namshar, I think this has been pretty good for him. He takes his time to pick this fight, and he picks a good one. A good enough a fight to push this away, and that's going to be equal Ling counts coming out of it. Neither player actually fully committed into the engagement. HateMe disengaging before he got into too much trouble. And HateMe being the player of Ling speed finishing first means he will actually be able to get away with his Lings. If Namshar's Ling speed finished a few seconds sooner, he might have actually been able to catch up and kill a Ling or 2 with his better numbers. So a few more Lings moving over to the right side. A Baneling nest is starting up on the natural, or finishing up on the natural, I should say, instead. Same for Namshar, and a couple of defensive Banes start coming down on each side of the map now. And again, Namshar starts to harass on this third base, but it isn't really like a dedicated attack, right? He never made more Zerglings than he needed beyond just what he needed to defend. And now he's just going to head back home. Obviously he's got a couple of Banes at home to defend as well, a couple more Lings. And HateMe, he will also counter-attack, but mostly in the production tab, we are seeing the drones on the way from both players. So most of these guys are just setting up into drones and probably looking towards missile upgrades and in towards roaches in the near future as they start to safely set up in towards the 3 bases apiece. HateMe can't even grab this Queen here. Namshar continues to defend well, as we are going to be seeing these Lings and Banes just continue to back away through the center. Third hatchery is indeed up on this right hand side as well, and just mining away quite happily. And there's HateMe switch into the Roach drone and the left for Roach speed. Same for Namshar, and we just wait for him to start up his own +1 missile upgrade, which is something that HateMe has already been able to do here. So as these Lings poke forwards, Lings and a couple of Banes from HateMe are able to push those Zerglings of Namshar away. More Banes coming into the center of the map. These units continuing to gather up together right now, and we will be seeing this extractor coming up on the natural expansion. Going to be seeing a couple of Lings moving forwards and trying to grab themselves maybe one of those Banelings, and we just see the Baneling, the first one going down. Ooh, nice connection from Namshar, actually. That's a big benefit. He actually has these Banes going towards the mineral line on the third base, and, well, it only takes a couple of drone connections to change up everything. Oh my god. Those drones obviously don't die, but they get very damaged, and that means if there's a follow-up set of Zerglings, it only takes a couple of moments for Namshar to target down so many of those. He's going to see a Roach here, and he's got a couple of Lings. Extra Banes about to finish. If he gets 2 Banes to the left and 2 to the right, he could kill so much here right now, but the Roaches, I think, are going to be able to target down Banes in time and defend against this. He's going to try and move forwards. He's using the Lings as a distraction, but the Banes will not get to the mineral line. The more Lings streaming in, and if he gets a surround on the Roaches and then gets a couple of drones, again, those drones will still fall quickly because they are still low on health, and Namshar just rallying Lings across the map right now is starting to break through, and again, he's so close to getting some major damage dealt. He still has to kind of focus on the Roaches though, and that's keeping the drones alive for now, and he maybe gives chance for HateMe to stabilize a little bit here in the long run because he is at least keeping his economy going. Biggest issue though is drones are pulling around all over the place, and now his queens are going down, so he's missing injects, which will naturally give Namshar a bit of a lead moving forwards. And the Zerglings and Namshar continue to do very well here, backing away a little bit. His own Roach is coming across the map as Roach speed and +1's about to finish. Honestly, with the way that it's been going for Namshar, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad idea that he continues to be aggressive, rallying Roaches across the map. He's had a very successful few moments of this game, and if you can transfer that into taking even, getting even more damage done now, as HateMe tries to stabilize, well, maybe even just finds himself winning this game right here and now. So let's see as Namshar continues to poke up and towards the third base. A few Lings and Roaches having to start kiting backwards. The +1 will help a lot against the Zerglings. It means the Lings get 2 shot by Roaches rather than 3 shot, so it means they just go down so much faster. They don't provide as much of a buffer anymore. But both players do have the +1 missiles, so the upgrades are even. The upgrades are fairly kind of even between the two, and that's obviously a nice little something. It means that neither player is going into this fight with a straight up advantage. Couple drones going down as the Roaches very nicely peel away there by Namshar. He continues this fight in the center. He's actually starting to win out here a little bit until the reinforcements show up. The Queens as well obviously helping out, but just the fact he's killed 7 drones beyond this means that Namshar is not only trading well in terms of the fights, but he's also picking up worker damage to put him further ahead in terms of economy moving onwards. As +2 missile upgrade starts up for HateMe, that's going to be a big deficit for him in the follow-up as well. As Namshar has his own +2 finished, every single engagement from Namshar as that +2 finishes is going to be so much better for him just straight up before the fight even begins, because he has +2 against no +2. And you see those Roaches just getting caught off as well, and Namshar strikes very nicely there. Just as HateMe's reinforcements were arriving, Namshar finds a way to pick off even more Roaches. He chases this away, by the way. And this is just so powerful. A Queen out in the middle of the map. HateMe falling apart completely. I think the early pressure has just gotten to him, and Namshar using that early pressure to basically start to break on through now. More of these Roaches and a few more Ravages are setting up, and Namshar going to look to break on through in towards the third base perhaps in the next few moments, and see what's going to happen next. Aspire about halfway done at the moment from HateMe. Is on the way out for him, as we do see the Roaches and the Ravagers pushing forwards. The Ravagers being involved in this is obviously nice, because not only do they kind of pick off an overload here and there and even supply block HateMe for the moment, it just creates so much kind of, so many moments here where HateMe's going to have to dodge away from corrosive bars, and that's going to be lost damage time. Obviously if the bars connect, it's damage output, and even if it, even ignoring the biles, straight up the Ravagers just do more damage in a fight than Roaches do, and so if they're protected by the Roaches, it's just extra DPS in the army. As we see Namshar, a couple of biles here, he actually catches that overload, very nicely done as it was continuing to move around. Namshar up 40 army supply. HateMe is getting mutas on the map, and that's something which could turn things around. We saw the Spire earlier, and Namshar never scouted it. It's interesting because Namshar doesn't necessarily have the Roaches to break on through and start dealing economic damage, so as the mutas come out, he is maybe forced to back away here and to build up in towards a Hydra's Den, and in terms of, and just move into a follow-up in general. A lot of the time at this sort of stage, I think you'd kind of think to yourself, a lot of players would kind of get a Hydra Den up anyways, just for safety's sake and for maybe transitions. But Namshar hasn't, because he's probably feeling like, oh, well, what are the chances you've got enough money to make mutas? Well, he does, and now Namshar is kind of forced into this fight, which is, it's kind of weird, because it's like, he's got enough Roaches to win the fight, but eventually he'll get cleaned out by mutas. The question is, how quickly do those mutas clean him out? And it looks as though it's probably not going to be fast enough. As the Roaches fall down, HateMe is not going to be able to buy himself too much more time, and Namshar can just put himself all over the place and start picking off a bunch of drones. And obviously, as these mutas distract themselves by, as mutas have distracted basically trying to clean up these units, it gives Namshar an absolute eternity at home to set up in towards a defensive setup against the mutas with Hydras, Spore Crawlers, and Queens. The more time that Namshar buys right now with these roaches, the better it is for him. And again, because he cleaned out the roaches of his opponent, he's not under threat of an immediate counterattack. The meters were a nice idea by HateMe, but he was just a bit too far behind that even the meters coming in as a bit of a surprise factor wasn't able to make the difference. If this was a more even game, it may have looked very different. You know, if it's more even, suddenly Namshar doesn't have these roaches still around because the roaches of HateMe trade better. If those roaches aren't around, the meters... If you're tuning in for the first time, or maybe the first time in a long time, always interested to see who's new around here. So, what's up, guys? Let me know what's going on. And do come say hi. Let me know if you're new, tuning in for the first time. And how about we hear where you guys are tuning in from as well? It's always an interesting time zone to cast in this one because it's obviously daytime for Europe, it's morning for America, and it's evening over in the eastern side of the world. So we actually usually get people tuning in from all over the place. So let me know where you guys are tuning in from as we jump into this ZvZ on Catalyst for Game 2 of our semi-finals. Namshar, our blue Zerg in the bottom right, leads 1-0. The top left-hand side, the red Zerg player, this is HateMe. And he's down a game, but again, he's definitely got some potential. You know, he took down Bly and Denver so far today, and those are not kind of, you know, just nobodies. Those are definitely players who are, you know, have some substance behind their names. And I'm sure they'll be back tomorrow to try and qualify again, because we do have another qualifier tomorrow. And I would like to say that you guys are more than welcome to come and play as well. You know, even if you're not a pro player, you're more than welcome to come and join. And one of the best things about our tournaments, and it's even our qualifiers, we are partnered with OSC. And if you don't know what OSC is, check out www.sc2online.com. OSC is an online sports championship league, and basically throughout the year, they run their own tournaments, but they also partner with other events to give out OSC points and other bonuses. So in OSC events, certain players have bounties on them, and so certain very good players, if you beat one of those players in a best of 3 in an OSC event, you get paid out their bounty, for example. Also, you can, just by participating in OSC events, win prizes, and anyone who participates in an OSC event will be entered into a raffle at the end of the year to win a trip to a StarCraft 2 event of their choice. So just by playing in an OSC event, you don't have to play a lot. You know, the more you play, the more likely you are to win. But just by participating, you could be entered to win a trip to a StarCraft 2 event of your choice. And that's why the OSC system is so cool. They add in a whole bunch of extra stuff which just promotes the taking part of StarCraft 2 events. So do get involved. Tomorrow's qualifier, if you want to take part, ! bracket in the chat will give you the link to today's qualifier. Simply replace the 1 at the end of today's bracket link with a 2. And you'll go onto the second qualifier link, get signed up, and come and take part. We'd love to see you here tomorrow. It would be great to see. Killjoy_PY coming in with the hey Wardy, good work, and keep it up. On the 4-month resub, thank you so much for the 4 months, mate. Hope you're doing well, and again, 4 months, a third of a year. Thank you so much for the continued support, really do appreciate it. And as we get set up into this game number 2, we've just been following this Overlord, but it's a very similar setup to the last game. Hatch gas pool, third hatch is on the way. Again, Namshar plays as defensive lings against the aggressive lings, but mostly it looks as though these players are probably setting up in a similar setup. And I am intrigued to see if Namshar can get so much done with the speed lanes once again, catching those initial roaches coming out from HateMe, and just catch him being maybe a little bit off guard and a little bit greedy. Dyer's M2 says, tuning in from Mexico, just coming back from work after working night shift and enjoying today's games. Hello from Finland, says my co-host in the chat. Cryptsake is tuning in from Norway. He's a new viewer earlier today and already a sub because his passion is overwhelming. Lovecraftian tuning in from Sweden. Another Norwegian. As Flanco is waiting for some Nation Wars action to start on up. H-Rays coming in from the Netherlands. Hello, HateMe. My Netherlands is heel goed, yeah? Yeah. My Dutch is pristine, I know. Got Coma Duster from Australia. And, yeah, cool. People from all over the place, as I was saying. It's kind of sick to see. Very awesome. Well, good stuff, guys. Glad to have you with me. And as we set up into game number 2, we again have not had much action so far, just a little bit of Ling Bane, this time HateMe being a bit more cautious, and that is perhaps hurting him because it's allowed Namshar into a bit of a worker lead, and in this sort of scenario if you're down on workers it should be HateMe who's being aggressive, which is going to happen now, but has it just taken a little bit too long? As we do see these Lings coming down to the south side, and they are going to be coming in and just going to start trying for the Queen. And a few more of these Zerglings in the next few moments. Well, they're on the way up from HateMe in the main base. The Roach Roaring dropping down as well in the natural expansion. But +1 already on the way from Namshar, holding a 7-worker lead and defending his third base for now. Well, that could be the end of that worker lead. Kaboom. 9 workers go down to the Banelings, and HateMe finds himself the damage he needs to equalize this game a little bit and to get himself back into a strong position, going in towards the mid stages now. Good to see. Lings and a couple of Banes join up on the top side. We are going to be seeing those Zerglings getting taken down pretty quickly. More Zerglings here from Namshar, moving up in towards the other side, but unable to find much at all. Good to be seeing those Lings continue to chase down, and they get themselves a drone. Again, a couple of workers here and there. It does add up, and Namshar back into a 5-worker lead from this, as a couple of his final Banelings coming across to try and do something, but the Lings and Queen shut them down. And Namshar, well, it's now about those roaches. He is making another round of Lings. Generally should be moving in towards roaches here sometime soon. He's actually going pneumatized carapace as well, which is kind of intriguing. Not something you see all of the time here, honestly. So I'm intrigued to see what potentially comes of that. And so you are going to be having those Lings on both sides moving forwards. Evo Chamber is dropping down a second one, so even a carapace upgrade here potentially from Namshar. As again his own roaches. Oh, he didn't have a roach roaring. Wow, I mean, his +1's about to finish. He doesn't even have a roach roaring yet. HateMe maybe has some potential to get damage done, but he doesn't necessarily know it, and that's because why he's possibly backing away right now, not realizing that he can actually maybe move on further forwards. And even if he does, maybe it's not quite got the potential anyways. It's only 9 roaches. There is a good amount of Lings out at least, and obviously roaches will be popping out soon anyways from Namshar. Namshar trying to skip as much as he can though, as he's going into Aspire. He will still start his further upgrades, Roach Speed, Carapace, and +2 missiles, which will limit the number of mutilisks he can make here, but it does mean that if he goes mutas and then back into Roach production, his Roaches will still be very powerful, and even in an upgrade lead, moving forwards. Alright, we are going to be seeing the few Lings here continue to move around, and the Roaches just continue to do a little bit of damage here and there. A couple of upgrades continue on through. Hydralisk Den comes up from HateMe in this natural expansion. You can just see that Namshar has the edge here and there though, right? Like his +2 a bit further along. He's got the 4th hatchery already coming up, whereas HateMe's just trying to take his. It's just these little edges that Namshar seems to have that's really kind of differentiating the two of them so far. Hydralisk Den from HateMe is about to finish up in the back of this natural. A lot more roaches coming down to the south side. We are going to be seeing more and more roaches of Namshar gathering together on the 3rd base, and we can see just a few mutilisks on the way out, and Namshar is going to be pushing those roaches of HateMe away. So Namshar defends for now, and the best thing is now his mutas arrive, so he can start shutting down overlords, and now he can start to get a little bit of damage done. 3 on the map, 4 more on the way. It's 7 mutilisks in total, and as he gets up into 7 mutilisks, he's going to be able to, well, he's going to be able to shut down an overlord here and an overlord there. He's going to be able to get quite a bit done. As you see more of these mutilisks coming up the left-hand side towards the top, to see just what will happen next. Roaches and Hydras of HateMe continuing to gather together. I mean, Namshar doesn't have a great standing army right now. He actually is down 20 army supplies, so in terms of an actual fight, Namshar does not want to be taking one. Also, with Hydras coming into the fight as well, it means that obviously the actual army supply of HateMe is a bit more valuable. It's going to be very powerful against Roaches and Hydras straight up. So the big difference is that Namshar's going into Bane speed, and his plan here is to get a lot of Banelings up. The Banes do bonus damage to Hydras because they're light units, and so if you get the Banelings to roll into the Hydras, suddenly you start to overwhelm. The mutas can come in and fight the Roaches, which can tilt the battle on that side into your favor, and that's where things really start to kind of go very well for the mutalist players. So we'll see if Namshar can find that kind of success, as we see 6, 7 workers going down. I mean, these mutas just finding an opening. The lack of spore cores is kind of interesting. I guess HateMe just sort of said I can defend without the spores, but there is an opening that Namshar was able to abuse. This is painful though for Namshar, because he isn't actually prepared to take this fight just yet, I feel. He's morphing in Ravages, his Ling is on the way, but he doesn't have the Banelings ready just yet, and that's an issue, because it means that he isn't going to be able to make use of those Banes to try and push down the Hydra count. No Hydra speed here, Muscle Organ still on the way up, as Namshar is actually pushing this army back for now. Where are the mutilisks? Just sat here to the left-hand side. The first Bane's on the way, but it's not that many, only 6 of them. It's not really kind of the scary, terrifying numbers that are suddenly going to roll in and force those Hydras to really split and kind of back away a little bit. few corrosive bars coming down here and there, and still HateMe, who's backing away up the left-hand side to try and get out of this one. Another Ravager starts to move in here on the left-hand side, and we are going to be seeing Mudalix of Namshar heading all the way up to the top. Roaches and Hydra still here from HateMe, coming down to the south side and going to try and push in towards this third base. This Queen is going to get picked off as well already, and Namshar's the one who has to try and come into the fight now. He's got a few Banes rolling in from this angle, which is kind of nice because the Hydras are in the front over here, and in general it's a good position for Namshar because the Hydras are the first units he's going to greet, and being able to kill the Hydras right away takes away a lot of the damage of the army. Yes, Namshar loses the third base, but he's got a counter-attack killing off some Queens already, and as he chases this army down, he's going to pick up so many kills, and that's going to go a long, long way for Namshar in terms of following up in this game. Nice split away from the corrosive bow as well. He's already retaken a base to the right-hand side. There's those Roaches over here. They did a lot, but now they're getting shut down by reinforcements. Namshar will bring his Beaters back into the fight just to try and work away at some of those Roaches, maybe trying to deter them from chasing down his own units. HateMe is playing a ring around the bases right now as he's continuing to run around with this group of units which have already picked off the third, and now they're going to try and get the bottom left base as well. Namshar will be able to shut this down now though. He split his units in two different directions, and coming in from the two angles means that there actually is no longer an escape here from HateMe, so he will end up losing these units, and as soon as these units go down, Namshar's counterattack across the map is going to be so powerful. He leads this army supply by 50, and if he goes across the map, it's going to be very powerful. And that's why HateMe's looking to take these kind of fights right now, you know, the right-hand side. He's trying to keep Namshar on his own side, because he probably knows, I just lost a lot of army supply, but if I can keep this up, kill a lot of workers, deny the base, and deny the income, then over time, I will catch back up on army supply, because I'm the player with income to utilize to build more units, and Namshar isn't, so that's HateMe's plan for now. It's a difficult plan to pull off successfully, because if he slips up one time and Namshar gets across the map, HateMe is all but dead. Again, Namshar starts to split up his units to try and hunt down these packs of Roaches that are causing him so much chaos at the moment. You can see now HateMe may be in trouble because he doesn't have a set of units going down the left to pull Namshar away once again, so this time Namshar might be able to get into that sort of aggressive position we were talking about, where he can actually force the fight. The Beaters come in overhead and they get rid of the one Hydra in that army, and it looks as though that's going to start going down. A couple of Banes find themselves 12 drones as well. More good damage being done, as we are going to be seeing HateMe is just continuing to run up to the top side. So HateMe continues to run away. Roaches and Ravagers, a few more corrosive bows, not connecting on anything just yet. Continue to come up north and continue to chase down some more of those Roaches. To the south side, another couple of Roaches running by, but again, it's not enough to really scare Namshar away from continuing this fight. Now Namshar's going to kill a base of his own. This fourth hatchery is not going to last long at all. The corrosive biles are absolutely deadly there. As you will see, again, the counter-attacking Roaches, they're annoying. They're costing Namshar some economy, but he just denied the fourth base of his opponent, and that means no matter how much of a worker lead you have, if you don't have the base to actually mine from, the income advantage is not really going to be there. You can see that Namshar, while having an income deficit for a while, has now definitely started to even that up a little bit with his last couple of moves. So we'll see him clean up those few Roaches, and again, now, HateMe has nothing on the map to try and buy himself time, and so Namshar is in this position where he can just move off to the top side and kind of just go from there. All these Roaches and Ravagers are going to be moving upwards. This Overseer does get taken down. And as the Overseer falls, we are going to be seeing Namshar just continue his march up top. Again, a very small Roach counterattack. But in fairness, the army supplies have evened out a little bit. Namshar still has some advantages. He still has +2 Carapace. He actually has Banes here as well, which could actually do a lot against a Hydra Ravager focused army. Even just crashing into the Roaches here is good damage dealt, where it's just going to force Namshar into a position where he has a better kind of army supply. He gets rid of this third base for the Vials. And again, he just backs away so calmly and securely. This time he has Roaches to deflect the Roach counterattack, and he has Mutas on this fourth base, which, I mean, there's no answer until the Hydras come over. If the Hydras come over, well, the Roach Ravager is going to be here to defend it. Continue to move up to the top side. There's another couple of drones go down, some corrosive bars will drop. This hatchery falls, and Namshar picks up a big win on the right-hand side. And again, now HateMe on just 2 bases. 14 minutes in this game. He's done a stellar job of holding on from a position that wasn't great for him, but again, unfortunately, he's running out of time. A few Mutas peel away once again towards the upper left. A few Lurkers coming on the right-hand side. Maybe HateMe's final kind of Hail Mary move is to try and go for the, you know, the big Lurker play. Maybe he can get some damage done with those that can change this well enough. Can't actually push up here as HateMe, because if those rocks go down, he's only halfway up. That's going to be goodbye to some of his units, and obviously the ones that get trapped on the wrong side are going to get taken down pretty quickly. HateMe just can't find a position to attack in. Every time he tries to, he gets pushed away. I mean, here come the lurkers. They're going to be able to set up on the high ground, and maybe they can do something. Maybe they can work some magic as Namshar, while the first corrosive bars are going to get rid of one lurker. The next lurkers get taken down as well, and well, now there's only 3 lurkers, where originally there was 6. This is nowhere near as scary, and Namshar starts to take the fight. Again, maybe needs to be a little bit cautious, but at the same time, more reinforcements on the way, and Namshar continues to move on forward. This time he's going to get the lurkers once again, and now there's 1 lurker left. The Overseers come in to the end of HateMe's army. GG. And that is going to be game number 2. Namshar takes the